Alright, today we have a biting during sex guide. You're going to learn how to safely bite your partner during sex to increase pleasure, eroticism, and primal energy. I'm Brandon the Dom. Let's dive in. So I really enjoy biting, like a lot. And the top part of my teeth are a little pointy, and the bottom row of my teeth are slightly taller than the rest in my mouth. So in other words, I feel like I was built to take a chomp out of beautiful, soft, supple skin. In fact, I do it so often that I've learned I have to explicitly ask every person that I play with if they like to be bitten or not. I have to ask if I can leave marks and exactly where I can leave marks on their body. Because if you tell me I can, I will. I've been known to leave little trails of bruises and get wonderful pictures afterwards. But because many people have to keep up professional appearances, most of the time the neck is off limits. But if she tells me that she's game for that, I instantly feel my arousal level rise, just knowing that I'm going to be latched onto her neck later while I'm inside her. Biting is an erotic action that can be taken during sex or rough play, particularly if you enjoy creating a roller coaster of pleasure and pain, engaging in primal play, or you're a little bit sadistic and like to see your submissive squirm. But I know that I'm not alone in wanting to nibble on my partners. So some reasons that people enjoy biting during sex is, first of all, that mixture of pain and pleasure. It's one of the cornerstones of BDSM, mixing together pain and pleasure to kind of create a symphony of sensations. And biting can be an extremely painful sensation that can feel really good for people. Some people might enjoy a little nibble, others might enjoy a hard chomp. As I mentioned earlier, it also brings out this primal energy. It feels incredibly animalistic to just take a bite out of somebody. It's most often when I'm in the heat of passion that I feel the greatest desire to bite my partner. It's like a very intense feeling of desire that completely takes over and you want to basically consume your partner. And for the person being bitten, they can feel a sense of helplessness, like that of prey being killed. For some, the thrill is in ownership. So when you bite your partner and particularly leave a mark on them, it can induce feelings of ownership over them. Sort of like you're marking your territory. I'm quite satisfied when I receive pictures of marks that I've left and knowing that they came from my mouth. And now every time that that person sees them on their neck or elsewhere on their body throughout the week, they get a little reminder of me. And of course, it's an expression of dominance and submission. Biting can be a quite sharp and intense pain. And if it's done harshly, it can immediately put the person who's being bitten into submission through force. There's also a unique phenomenon to biting that doesn't necessarily occur in other kinks, which is that of dimorphous expression. And this is when you feel a strong emotion, but express the opposite of that emotion. It's basically your body's way of regulating intense emotions and bringing you back to equilibrium. So a common example of this is laughing out of anger. The emotion you have is angry, but the way you're expressing it is through something that would be equal to joy. The other example of this is crying tears of joy. You're extremely happy, but instead you're crying, which is often associated with being sad. The dimorphous expression that's specific to biting, though, is more of the cute aggression. This is when you feel so much love, joy, and passion for something that you want to squeeze, pinch, or bite it. In this instance, we desire our partners so much that if we don't bite them, we just might explode from passion. Now let's talk about some of the risks associated with biting. Obviously, biting is pretty simple and the risks are pretty low to incorporating it into your play, but that's not to say that there are none. So one of the first things you need to be aware of is breaking skin, which is probably going to be your largest risk. Using your teeth, breaking their skin, and drawing blood. The human mouth is generally a dirty place with all sorts of different bacteria. And a human bite on somebody else can actually become more infected, more likely to become infected than a dog bite. So if you do break skin, you should attend to it by washing out the wound, getting a bandage, or closing it up depending on the severity. Obviously, the next risk is leaving marks. Biting is done hard enough, it definitely will leave marks. And for some of those who are anemic, it's not going to take much to leave a mark on that person. So if marks are something that you need to be concerned about for appearances, you're going to need to take extra precautions on the intensity of your bites. And then less likely, but still a risk, is some sort of bodily damage. So depending on where and how hard you bite, you may be biting into organs or tendons, and those could become severely damaged. The average human bite can be 100 pounds or more of pressure. And that kind of pressure can crush fragile parts of the body. So with that in mind, let's talk about where to bite. A general guideline for biting is the places with big muscles and lots of flesh are the better places to bite, and the places with less flesh and more bone or less padding are usually not great places to bite. So some safe areas for biting are the butt cheeks, the stomach, biceps, thighs, breast, chest, shoulders, and upper back. Then there's some areas that are less common to being bitten and should be taken with caution, but can be very erotic to include biting in these places. And that's going to be the back and the sides of the neck, the genitals and the nipples, the lips and tongue, and then the earlobes. Now, with your specific partner, there's going to be places that they like being bitten and places that they don't. And you can actually do just kind of a fun exercise with them in the middle of play of finding pleasurable bite zones for them. So as you move around, just start with little nibbles and kind of map their body. And as they start giving you a very noticeable response, things like moans, sounds of joy and pleasure, leaning into your mouth, so pushing their body more into your mouth, then you're going to want to pause and spend a little more time in those pleasurable zones. Give a few more nibbles. And this will kind of help you map your partner's body, find the places that they like to be bitten. Of course, you can always ask, and you probably should ask where they like to be bitten and where they don't. But if they're not sure, just have some fun exploring. Now let's talk about some techniques for biting, and we're going to go through 6 levels of intensity, starting with the lowest level and moving our way up. The first level is not actually biting them, but just resting your teeth on them. So in this bite, you're basically just opening your mouth and gently resting the teeth on the skin. So I'll show you here. I'm not biting down, I'm just resting my teeth on top of my finger. This technique is to help build up the anticipation and basically leave your submissive wondering, when are they going to finally take a bite? Which induces just a little bit of fear, anxiety, anticipation. I particularly like using this on a part of the body that should never actually be bitten. And my favorite is actually the front of the neck across the trachea. If you've watched my choking video, you know we should not be squeezing or putting pressure on the trachea because we could crush it. But just gently resting your teeth, both bottom and top, on the front of the neck like that makes the submissive feel incredibly vulnerable and basically get her thinking that any moment I could completely rip her neck apart if I wanted. But of course, we're never going to do that because you would damage the trachea if you did. The second technique that we're going to use is a toothless bite. So normally, when you think of biting, you think of using both your top and bottom teeth on the skin. But instead of doing that, we're only going to use one set of teeth and basically cover the other set with our lip. So when you go to press your teeth on their skin, you're going to use your top teeth to press down and make pressure on their skin, but you're going to cover with your lip the bottom set of your teeth. So you can kind of bite down like that. It looks a little weird, but what it allows you to do is give more sensation on their skin with that top set of teeth without actually having the full pressure of a bite. This technique is particularly good for really sensitive areas, such as the nipples, in order to warm them up for more intense levels of biting later. All right, level 3 is nibbling. So nibbles are just quick, light little bites, and they require very little pressure on the skin. You're using both sets of teeth, just giving little nibbles in order to create pleasurable sensations. Nibbles are a great way to warm your partner up for more intense biting later, and doing that mapping technique that we talked about earlier in order to find the areas that they really enjoy being bitten. I like to alternate between nibbles and kisses as I explore my partner's body. The next level is grinding your teeth. So when I say that, you probably think about the people that grind their teeth in their sleep, and they're just basically moving their teeth back and forth kind of parallel rather than chomping up and down. And that's exactly what you're doing. So you'll take a little bit of your partner's skin in your mouth and you're going to run your teeth parallel to each other rather than up and down. And this is a particularly good technique for sensitive areas that have been warmed up a little bit, such as the inner thighs or the nipples. I like to take like a nipple in between my teeth and just very lightly, not chomping down at all, but very lightly running it between my teeth. And that's going to create some friction on the nipple. It'll be a very nice sensation, a little painful, but it's not going to be like, I'm chopping it down, trying to rip it off. All right, level 5, we're actually going to start taking a chomp out of our partner. So for a more intense bite, you're basically going to take some of your partner's skin and kind of roll it up so that you can actually chomp down on both sides of the skin. Now, obviously I'm showing you on my hand so that you can see, but you would never do it on the hand, or you would do it very lightly with one of the other techniques, because obviously we have all these bones and there's no meat on the back of the hand. But on the front of the hand, you could bite this very meaty part if you wanted. But like I said, we're just taking a chunk of a partner's skin and biting on both sides of that. You can do this really quickly for kind of like a sharp stinging sensation, or you can do it over a prolonged amount of time, very slowly biting down, and kind of feels like their skin and muscle tissue are being crushed underneath your teeth. Biting like this will almost always lead to marks, depending on, how much intensity you're giving inside of that bite. And then level 6 is doing a blood bite. So the sharper your teeth are and the harder you bite down, the more likely you are to break their skin. If you wish to play at this level and actually break skin and draw blood, be sure you know the risks of infection for both of you and about bloodborne pathogens, as well as knowing how to properly care for the wound afterwards. All right, let's talk about some tips for putting this into practice. If you've watched my other videos on certain techniques, you'll know the first thing that I talk about is remembering your goal. Why are you even putting this into the scene? Because using the appropriate level that we just went through is going to change how the scene feels. For example, a sadist may use a higher level more quickly in order to cause pain, while a pleasure dom may use little nibbles over an extended period of time in order to create greater pleasure. So know why you're including this, know what kind of feelings you want to evoke, and how you want the scene to progress. My next tip is to start slow and low. So as with most actions in BDSM, you want to start slow and low in the intensity scale. And you're doing this in order to warm your partner up over time so that you can use some of the more intense levels. As the biter, the person that's actually biting the other person, this can actually be a little difficult, especially if you are starting to get some of that cute aggression, you're feeling very passionate and want to take a big bite out of your partner. And I know this because there have been times where I've gone too hard, too fast, because of how much I desired my partner. So if you enjoy biting, you need to learn how to control yourself until they're ready for you to actually be a wild animal. And you can actually do this warming up in a couple different ways. You can start on the lower end of the intensity scale that we went over using some of those biting techniques, or you can use one single biting technique and increase the intensity of that bite over time. For example, you can put your partner's skin into your mouth and very, very, very slowly closing down in on their skin. If your partner starts to pull away from your bite rather than kind of leaning into it, that's your cue to not really bite down any further. And as your interaction continues, you can actually use this sort of test bite throughout your play to see where they are in terms of the intensity scale. So in the very beginning of the interaction, you may be only able to bite down so far because they're not warmed up. But later in the interaction, they may be very warmed up and you can bite down much further. The next thing to think about is timing. For most of my interactions, the main times that I'm using biting is during foreplay, during the climax, and during cuddles. So during foreplay, I'm probably staying somewhere between the 1 and 4 range on the intensity scale, with an occasional 5 to kind of bring a sharp sensation, that roller coaster, whoa, kind of shock them a little bit. Sometimes, biting the inner thigh after I've been giving them cunnilingus for a while. And these bites, as I'm doing foreplay, are usually mixed in with kisses and licks as I'm mapping my partner's body. Now, during the climax of sex, or reaching very close to it, you can actually use a much more intense bite because the amount of hormones that are coursing through each of your bodies, and basically the endorphins that are helping your partner take all of those sensations. Biting the shoulder, the neck, the chest, those are some of my favorite areas to bite during that time. It's a very great feeling to bite onto their shoulder or latch onto their neck as we both orgasm. And then when we're cuddling and coming down, I often give very slow, soft little nibbles on my partner's body or gently resting my teeth on them as I continue to kiss along their body. So returning back to the lower levels of those intensity scales. Next thing I want to talk about are hickeys. Hickeys are basically just bruises. And they're usually not actually caused by the bite itself, but usually the sucking pressure that accompanies some bites. Because you can bite a person's skin without having any sucking action, but a lot of times people will bite and then they'll seal their lips on the skin and suck a little bit. And that's what's actually going to cause the hickey. And the reason is because when you suck on a person's skin, it breaks the tiny little blood vessels and blood basically floods and flushes that area. So if you want to minimize hickeys from biting, then do not suck when you're biting. If you want to maximize, well, then lock those lips around and give lots of sucking as you are biting. Now let's talk about a few tips for the submissive who's being bitten. The first tip is don't fight it. If you pull in the opposite direction from where your partner is biting, it's going to be more painful and increase the likelihood that you break skin. My second tip is to be honest about your reactions. When your partner is biting you, if you're not enjoying it, you need to let them know. Don't endure things that you don't like, and give lots of feedback to them, either verbally or non-verbally with your body reactions. If they're following some of the tips in this, if you actually do start pulling away a little bit, that should give them a signal, hey, this bite is too much pressure. If you say ow or something like that, obviously that's not enjoyable. But if they have found places that they're biting, they started mapping your body and found those pleasurable zones, moan. Let them know it feels really good. Let them know that that pressure feels really good. So those are my tips on biting. And biting is an excellent addition to your rough sex toolkit, which can also include things like hair pulling, choking, spanking, and manhandling, which I have videos for all of those, and you'll find links down below in the description. I promise that the more you engage in this, the more you might come to find it feels incredibly animalistic and can intensify the passion and aggression that you have during sex. And as I mentioned earlier, if you enjoy this passionate rough sex, I recommend checking this video out on manhandling techniques. This is going to allow you to move your submissive around in the bedroom, throw them around, give them a good time, and have those roller coaster effects of excitement and fear, and joy and passion all happening at one time. So check out that video, and thank you so much for your time and attention.